Have you ever wondered what happens to your digital memories when a social network dies? Where do all those photos, videos, and moments you thought would be there forever actually go? I found out the answer in the worst way imaginable. My name is Marcus, and for 3 weeks I worked as a content moderator for a dead social network called Ecosphere. What started as a simple remote job turned into the biggest nightmare of my life. At first, it seemed perfect. Work from home, flexible hours, just reviewing and deleting old content from a forgotten platform from the 2010s. What could possibly be wrong with that? Right? Wrong. So very wrong. Because after the first week, I started noticing strange things. The videos I was deleting. They seemed to look back at me. The photos had details in them that shouldn't exist. And the people in those old images, they started contacting me. People who, according to the records, no longer existed. They begged me not to delete their memories. They told me I was killing parts of them with every single click. And the more I worked, the more I realized a terrifying truth. I wasn't just removing digital files. I was erasing people's memories. Literally. And the more I deleted, the more I understood I wasn't working for some ordinary company. I was working for something much darker. Something that exists on the edges of our reality. In a parallel dimension where the normal rules just don't apply. The worst part? They knew that I knew. And they kept paying me anyway. If you work in tech, if you've ever had a weird remote job, or if you've ever wondered where your old photos really go when they're deleted forever, this story will make you question everything. Because sometimes, when you click delete, you're not just removing data. You're tearing out pieces of someone's soul. And they know. God. They know exactly what you've done. 3 months without a job. 3 months watching my bank account wither away while I sent resumes into the digital void. You know the feeling, don't you? That constant anxiety gnawing at your stomach. The shame of having to explain to your family why you still haven't found anything. I was desperate. That's when I found the ad on LinkedIn. It was simple, direct. The title read, Content Moderator. The description followed, Remote Work. Digital Archive Specialist, $25 an hour. Immediate start. $25 an hour to work from home? It felt too good to be true. But I needed to believe it. The company was called Temporal Digital Solutions. I'd never heard of them. But how many small tech companies are out there, really? The hiring process was strange. There was no video interview. Just an online form with bizarre questions. Do you have a history of recurring nightmares? Have you ever experienced severe déjà vu? How do you handle disturbing content? I figured they were standard questions for content moderation. Social media sites are full of horrible things, right? I just thought they were being cautious. The acceptance email arrived the same day. It was automatic, cold. Congratulations, Marcus. You have been selected for the position of Digital Content Archivist. Your work will begin on Monday. Instructions are attached. Welcome to the team. No signature. No recruiter's name. Just a PDF attachment with basic instructions and a login link. On Sunday night, before my first day, I reviewed everything again. The job seemed straightforward. Log into the legacy system of Ecosphere, a social network that shut down in 2014, and perform the final curation of its remaining content. Basically, delete everything left on their servers. Preserve platform integrity. Remove anomalous content. Those were the only specific guidelines. Monday, 9 a.m. I sat down at my makeshift desk in the corner of my one-bedroom apartment. Coffee in hand, laptop on, ready for what I thought would be a boring but well-paying job. The Ecosphere site was still functional, sort of. The interface was frozen in 2014. That classic blue and white design every social network used to copy from Facebook. But there was something off about the place's digital atmosphere. The colors seemed a little faded, like a photograph left in the sun for too long. I logged in with the credentials they gave me. The system recognized me as Admin Archive 7 and granted me full access to the database. My job was simple: review posts, photos, and videos, and delete anything that seemed out of the ordinary. What did that mean exactly? They didn't specify. "You'll know it when you see it," the manual said. The first few files were mundane. Faded selfies, check-ins at restaurants that probably didn't exist anymore, posts about movies from 2013, dead content from a dead platform, uploaded by people who probably didn't even remember having an account on Ecosphere. But then I started to notice small inconsistencies. A photo from a birthday party where everyone was smiling, except for one figure in the background. Tall, thin, their face obscured by shadows that didn't match the room's lighting. A video of a dog playing in a park, but in the audio, you could hear faint whispers in a language I couldn't identify. A normal text post about the weather, but when you looked closely, some of the letters seemed to tremble on the screen. Was this the anomalous content? I deleted it all. That's what they were paying me for. The second week started differently. When I logged in on Monday, a pop-up was waiting for me. "Welcome back, Archivist. Your work last week was exceptional. Today, you will be granted access to higher priority files. Remember? Preserve integrity. Remove anomalies." Higher priority files? No one had mentioned different content levels. I clicked Accept, and the system redirected me to a new section. Deep Archive, Level 2. The interface was the same, but the air felt oppressive. It was as if the site itself was watching. The first files were from more active users. Profiles with hundreds of photos, years of posts, entire digital lives preserved in electronic amber. People who had really used Ecosphere as a personal diary. There was a user, Sarah M., 1987, who had documented her entire pregnancy in 2013. Photos of her growing belly, emotional posts about the baby coming, pictures of the decorated nursery. Everything was normal until the last photo. Her in the hospital, holding something wrapped in blankets. But the blanket was empty. She was smiling down at an empty space in her arms. I deleted the file. The instructions were clear. Then there was Michael Torres, 23, who posted videos of himself playing guitar. He was talented, actually. But in his last few videos, you could see someone sitting behind him in the shadows. Someone who never moved, never reacted to the music, just watched. And with each video, that figure became clearer, closer. Delete. What disturbed me the most, though, were the comments. Old posts were still getting new comments. Recent ones. From today. From people whose profiles had been deleted years ago. "Why are you doing this? These are our memories. You don't have the right." When I clicked on the profiles of these commenters, I landed on blank pages, accounts that no longer existed, but could somehow still leave comments. On the third day of that week, something happened that changed everything. I was reviewing the profile of a user named Jennifer KNYC, an artist who had used Ecosphere to showcase her work. Beautiful, abstract paintings, full of vibrant colors. But there was one series of paintings called Doors that made me stop. They were just paintings of doors. Dozens of them. Old wooden doors, rusted metal doors. Doors that seemed to be made of something I couldn't identify. And they were all slightly ajar, as if someone had just walked through them. The last painting in the series showed a door I recognized immediately. It was identical to the front door of my own apartment. My blood ran cold. I scrolled down and saw a new comment, posted 5 minutes ago. Marcus Admin 7, do you like my doors? I painted one especially for you. The comment was from Jennifer KNYC. But according to the system logs, she deleted her account in 2014. And according to my Google search, a Jennifer Morrison had died in a car accident in 2015. I slammed my laptop shut, so fast I almost knocked it off the table. But the screen stayed on even after the lid was closed. And Jennifer, she just kept posting comments. I didn't sleep that night. I just stared at my apartment door, waiting for it to open on its own. When I finally drifted off, I dreamed of paintings. Dozens of doors opening, one after the other, revealing hallways that stretched infinitely into the dark. The next morning, 3 emails were waiting for me. The first was from the Ecosphere system. Your performance is being monitored. Continue the excellent work, Archivist. The second was from an address I didn't recognize. temporalsolutions.help@econetwork.void. That domain, .void. I searched for it. It didn't even exist. The email read, Marcus, we've noticed you've had some questions about the content you're reviewing. We have attached updated guidelines to help you identify anomalies with more precision. Remember, questioning too much can affect your efficiency. The third email made me choke on my coffee. It was from Jennifer_K_NYC@econetwork.void.
Hi, Marcus. Thanks for admiring my work yesterday. I hope you liked the surprise. I painted a few more things, especially for you. You'll see them in the system today. Please don't delete them. They're important memories. This couldn't be real. I was having a nervous breakdown. That had to be it. But I needed the money. And to be honest, a part of me needed to understand what the hell was happening. I logged into the system and immediately noticed something different. There was a new tab. Priority Anomalies. Requires immediate attention. Inside it, 14 files were waiting for review. All of them from Jennifer_K_NYC. I clicked on the first one. It was a video of her, painting. But she wasn't in her studio. She was in my apartment, at my desk, using my paintbrushes, brushes I didn't even know I owned. She looked directly into the camera, directly at me, and said, Hi, Marcus. You shouldn't be deleting our memories. They're all we have. Now. I closed the video immediately, my hand trembling over the mouse as I saw the delete button. The instructions were clear. Anomalous content must be removed. But what if she was right? What if I was actually deleting people's memories? I opened the second file. It was a group photo, about 20 people at a party. All of them looking at the camera, all smiling. But I recognized some of the faces. They were people whose profiles I had deleted last week. Sarah M., 1987 was there, holding her invisible baby. Michael Torres. 23 was in the back, his guitar in his hands. And in the center of the photo, with her arms open as if presenting the others, was Jennifer. She was holding a handwritten sign. It read, Welcome to our side, Marcus. Have you deleted your old life yet? My old life? I ran to the bathroom mirror. My reflection was there, but something was wrong. I looked faded, like the colors on the Ecosphere interface, like I was being slowly erased. I ran back to the laptop. I had to delete it all. Follow the instructions. Keep my job. Keep my sanity. But as I moved the cursor over the delete button, a new pop-up appeared. One I'd never seen before. Are you sure you want to delete your own memories? I froze. And next to the usual yes and no buttons, there was another option that shouldn't exist. Restore all. I stared at that pop-up for what felt like an eternity. Are you sure you want to delete your own memories? The cursor blinked over the Restore All button, as if it had a life of its own. This made no sense. I didn't have a profile on Ecosphere. I'd never even heard of the platform before this job. How could I be deleting my own memories? I closed the window without clicking anything and decided to investigate, for I completely lost my mind. I opened a new tab and went straight to the system's search bar. I typed my own name, Marcus. 3 results appeared. The first was a profile named Marcus Digital 2010. I clicked on it, and my blood turned to ice. It was me. 10 years younger, different hair, but it was definitely me. The bio read, "New to the city, looking for connections." There were photos of me in places I had no memory of ever visiting. A Thai restaurant, a park I didn't recognize, a party with people I'd never seen before in my life. But the last photo destroyed me. It was me, holding a handwritten sign, starting my new job as a moderator. Can't wait to preserve everyone's memories. I didn't remember writing that. I didn't remember taking that picture. The second profile was Marcus Echo 2013. Older, looked more like me now. The photos showed a completely different life. Me with a red-haired woman I didn't recognize, living in an apartment I'd never seen, working in an office that looked familiar but was impossible to place in my memory. And there were videos. In the first one, I was speaking directly to the camera. Day 847 as archivist. The anomalies are getting more frequent. I think they know I'm here, but I can't stop. The rules are clear. Preserve integrity. Remove what doesn't belong. Day 847. I had only been working for 2 weeks. The third profile made me slam the laptop shut again. Marcus Archive Infinity. The profile picture was my face, but blurred, as if it were being slowly erased. The bio said simply, Lead Archivist, Temporal Section, Zarathiel Division. Zarathiel. That word echoed in my mind like a scream in a deep well. I knew that word. But how? And why did it fill my stomach with a cold that reached all the way to my bones? I forced myself to open the laptop again. I had to see the rest. On the Marcus Archive Infinity profile, there was only one post, dated yesterday. New cycle beginning. Marcus_7 has been activated. He doesn't know he's a repetition yet. They never do. But maybe this time will be different. Maybe this time he'll choose to remember instead of forget. Below the post, there were comments. Dozens of them. All from profiles with my name. Marcus, Archive, 1, Marcus, Archive, 2, Marcus, Archive, 3, all the way to Marcus, Archive, 6. All of them saying the same thing. He'll find out. They always find out. But it's too late by the time they do. I scrolled to the end of the comments and found something that made me stop breathing. A comment posted 5 minutes ago while I was reading. Marcus, Archive, 7. You're reading this now, aren't you? Can you feel the truth closing in? You never got a job. You never sent a resume. You have always been here. You have always been the archivist. And every time you discover the truth, we erase you and start again. The comment was from Marcus, Archive 0. And at the end, a question that made my hands shake uncontrollably. How many times do you think you've had this conversation with yourself? I spent 3 days without being able to log into the system. Every time I tried, my hands would shake so much I couldn't type the password. But the worst part wasn't the fear. It was the doubt.
eating away at my mind like acid. Did I really see those profiles? Or was I just having a complete mental breakdown? It made sense. 3 months unemployed, the financial pressure, the isolation. Maybe I had just invented all of it to give some meaning to a tedious job. On Wednesday, I forced myself to go back. I needed the money. I needed some semblance of normalcy. But when I logged in, only mundane files were waiting. Pictures of cats, posts about the weather, videos of kids playing. Nothing anomalous, nothing disturbing. As if the system had gone back to normal. I started to feel relieved. Maybe I really had imagined it all. And that's when I saw it. A comment on an old post about a cake recipe. Buried between normal replies from 2013, there was a new line posted today. The files you are looking for are in Zarathiel, Marcus. They always have been. The word hit me like a punch to the gut. Zarathiel. I didn't know what it meant, but my body reacted as if it did. A cold sweat, nausea, the feeling that something terrible was watching me through the screen. I searched for the word on Google. 0 results. I searched for it in the Ecosphere system. 1 result, a post from a user named at Echo Eternal, dated December 31st, 2013, the last day before the platform officially shut down. Zarathiel has called for us. Do not resist. There, you will be archived forever. The post had 0 likes, 0 comments, as if no one had ever seen it, except for me. And the moment I read it, I knew with a terrifying certainty that this word was connected to everything, to the strange profiles, to the anomalies, to the constant feeling that I was being watched. But knowing didn't bring me any relief. It only made me question if I was losing my sanity completely. Enough. I couldn't do it anymore. I wrote an email to Temporal Digital Solutions, resigning. For personal reasons, I cannot continue in this position. I hit send and closed the laptop. My hand trembled when I realized I never received a delivery confirmation. I called the number listed in the contract. An automated voice answered. The number you have dialed does not exist. I searched for the company on Google again. No results. As if it had never existed. I checked my bank account obsessively. The payments are there. 3 weeks' salary, deposited on time. But when I call the bank to ask about the origin, they tell me there's no record of a paying company. The money just appeared. It's been a week since I touched the laptop. But sometimes, late at night, I hear the Ecosphere notification sound coming from the other room. When I go to check, the laptop is turned off. Yesterday, I got an email on my phone from an address I don't recognize, but which feels familiar. Marcus, your trial period is complete. Prepare for the next phase. I deleted it immediately. But when I check my trash folder, it's not there. Maybe I never worked for any company. Maybe I made it all up. The unemployment, the desperation, the strange files. Maybe I've always been just a lost man talking to himself in an empty apartment. Or maybe I never really left. Sometimes I catch myself wondering, where does the job end? And where do I begin? Where does the screen end? And where does my reality start? And the question that haunts me the most, if I manage to get out, why do I still feel like I'm being watched? The question is, if you were in Marcus's place, what would you do? Would you have the courage to keep working? Or would you shut down the screen forever? Leave your theory in the comments. For more reports from the frontiers of reality, subscribe and activate notifications. That way, you'll know you're never truly alone in the dark. If this story made you look twice at the shadows in your own room, leave a like. It helps us find others like us. Until next time.